With the month behind us, and a shiny new gaming writer by our side, let's jump into the biggest stories of the past 28 days. Warner Bros. Games, publishers of the highly praised Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, have successfully patented the Nemesis System after 6 years of revisions and resubmissions to the US Patent and Trademark Office. The Nemesis System is a complex, procedurally generated NPC environment that catalogs every interaction your character has with NPCs throughout the game. Whether it's causing serious damage to an orc or embedding a traitor within the ranks of your enemy, the Nemesis System allows for truly unique playthroughs, adding weight to each encounter and the natural development of interesting storylines. But as many of us realized, it was mostly driven by shit-talking, dismemberment, and shame. Being on the brink of death, only to be saved by an orc ally, will always be one of the greatest highlights from such an organic storytelling system. The patent, however, has split the gaming community, with many saying that Warner Bros. Games have every right to patent and capitalize on their creation, while many others call the move hypocritical and detrimental to game production. While Warner Bros. Games can maintain the patent for the Nemesis System until 2035, it is technically still possible that the rights to use the system could be purchased from the publisher at a cost. However, if we are being entirely honest, this really is just bad for pretty much everyone who isn't a shareholder of Warner Bros. Critics of the patent list many game features in the Shadow series, which were freely taken from other games, such as map revealing towers, combat mechanics, and RPG upgrades, which were never patented by their own publishers. When Shadow of Mordor dropped in 2014, it was essentially just an Assassin's Creed game that didn't give a fuck about being tethered to reality, and if Ubisoft decided to put patents on climbing towers, free running mechanics, or mediocre writing, the Shadow of War series would cease to exist in the first place. The precedent that it sets among publishers, where anything unique and innovative is held behind lock and key, could have very negative consequences on the gaming industry should more publishers begin to take the same approach. Regardless of what the common folk think, money talks, and the patent has now already gone into effect.
Engine's been hit!
Get us out of here!
I'm losing control!
A group of level 50 netrunners, by the name of Hello Kitty, have successfully used the mass vulnerability and data mine demons on Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Pojekt Red. The ransomware incident follows a turbulent year at the company after the highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077 suffered multiple release date delays, organizational crunch, severe issues on last-gen consoles, and a list of bugs that would make Bethesda developers proud. The ransom note claimed to have stolen source code for The Witcher 3 and an upcoming ray-traced version of the game, Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales, Gwent, Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt's game development engine, as well as internal documents relating to accounting, legal, HR, and more. The ransom note also demanded that CD Pojekt Red had 48 hours to come to an agreement with the hackers, or the content would be leaked or sold online. CD Pojekt Red refused to give in to demands, and the hackers stuck to their word, releasing Gwent source code on the internet, before putting the rest of the data up for auction on the dark web, with a starting price of $1 million, and a buy it now price of $7 million. However, the seller ended the auction before it concluded, after supposedly receiving an outside offer of what could easily be assumed as millions of dollars. CD Pojekt Red stated they have approached the relevant authorities regarding the incident and believe that no personal data of players or staff were compromised. The Swag News team reached out to NetWatch for comment on the incident, but have received no response. At the same time, the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake has been delayed indefinitely. Take-Two Interactive plans to release 93 games over the next 5 years, and Mass Effect Legendary Edition is announced for a May 14th release. Blizzcon Online came and went this month, with the 2-day event celebrating the 30th anniversary of Blizzard, as well as announce updates for its collection of games. Each Blizzard title was given their own series of content to streamline viewership, so we've gone ahead and put together the highlights. World of Warcraft will be receiving updates to both the newest Shadowlands expansion, as well as WoW Classic, Shadowlands Patch 9.1, titled Chains of Domination, was announced for the expansion, adding a new location, new raid, and a number of additional quests. Classic WoW fans were also treated to the announcement of the Burning Crusade Classic expansion, which will feature more changes than the original WoW Classic. A new Warcraft themed expansion was announced for Hearthstone, which is named Forged in the Barrens, as well as a new mode called Mercenaries. The Forged in the Barrens expansion will add 135 new cards to the game, with the new core set being available for free. The Mercenaries mode is set to launch in the second half of 2021 and is said to include roguelike missions and RPG gameplay. However, little other information was shown. The Diablo franchise received multiple updates, with Blizzard once again heavily leaning on nostalgia to carry them home. The remastered version of Diablo 2 will include the Lord of Destruction expansion pack and will be similar to the remaster of StarCraft 2, where the push of a button can change between the classic and remastered versions of the game. Diablo 2 Resurrected did not receive a release date, but will release on PC, as well as all previous and next-gen consoles. Diablo 4 received only one small announcement, with that being the addition of the classic rogue class as a new playable character. Again, no release date was announced for Diablo 4. Overwatch 2 received the largest drop of new details and information about the progress made in the previous year. However, those hoping for a release date or the announcement of a beta may need to wait a while longer. Rome and New York were shown to be two new PvP maps, and the new Overwatch 2 hero, Sojourn, first shown off during Blizzcon 2019, was confirmed to wield a railgun, which made professional Quake players already froth at the mouth. The team is also experimenting with role-based passive abilities, with tanks moving to be more aggressive and acting less like bullet sponges, damage characters to be faster by default, and for healers to automatically heal outside of combat. Weapon sounds have also been enhanced to sound different based on environment, weapon type, and amount of ammunition used, and the assault game mode is said to be reworked or entirely removed in Overwatch 2. In terms of the PvE experience, hero missions were announced as non-campaign co-op missions, designed to help level up heroes, and Blizzard stated that they intend to make hundreds of these missions over the life of the game. These missions will also have variable and dynamic weather, and all maps will have 3 time of day variations. As for the campaign itself, every mission will take place on a custom built map, and every single hero will feature 3 different skill trees with 7 tiers each. All characters are also getting cosmetic upgrades to make them feel older and less like they were made by Pixar Studios. A myriad of new PvE enemies were also shown off. However, no new playable heroes, cinematic, or release date was given. In all likelihood, Overwatch 2 will not be dropping before the end of the year. Along with the above news, the Blizzard Arcade Collection on PC and consoles was both announced and immediately released, including Blizzard classics such as The Lost Vikings, Blackthorn, and Rock and Roll Racing. In typical Blizzard fashion, pretty much everything else doesn't have a release date. Stadia Games and Entertainment, Google's internal game development division, is being shut down less than 2 years after launch, meaning Google Stadia will now be 100% dependent on securing games developed by third parties. As detrimental as this sounds, in the entire lifespan of the gaming wing of the company, it has only managed to develop a total of 3 games. For those who might have been living under a rock, Stadia is a cloud gaming service capable of streaming video games to compatible devices, which many compared to the Netflix of gaming before its release. However, after its disappointing launch in 2019, it has failed to capture anywhere near the amount of the market needed to be sustainable. Ironically, the closing of Stadia Games and Entertainment comes only a week after Google Stadia Vice President Phil Harrison reportedly praised the team for its great progress and establishing a strong lineup of Stadia exclusive games. To pile on more bad news, Vice President of Stadia Games and Entertainment and games industry veteran Jade Raymond is also leaving Google. Raymond is best known for producing the early Assassin's Creed games, as well as forming Ubisoft Montreal and Motive Studios before moving to Google. Many saw the acquisition of Raymond as a sign of hope for Stadia after her prior success. However, not even she could keep Stadia from its slow and inevitable death. If you own a Google Stadia, the closing of Stadia's internal development studio will have no effect on your current cloud gaming service. With this being said, one company that won't let you down is today's very special sponsor. To everyone watching, on behalf of the Swag News team, you have a really nice cock. However, with our friends from Manscaped, it could be even better. Manscaped's new performance package kit is like buying cosmetic DLC for your trouser sausage and will earn the admiration of everyone who consensually gazes upon its glory. The flagship of the pack is the new Lawnmower 3.0, which is a waterproof trimmer with safe skin technology to reduce those pesky nicks and cuts. As the great Shakespeare once said, one who trims the bushes also makes the tree taller. The pack also includes a testicle moisturizer called the Crop Preserver to make chafing a thing of the past, the Weed Whacker to trim down those unkept nose and ear hairs, and the Shears 2.0 to keep those males from making you look like you just escaped from the zoo. Viewers who order now with the code on screen will get themselves an easy 20% discount, free international shipping, as well as both a travel bag and pair of anti-chafing underwear for no extra cost. Manscaped, nice cock homie. Meanwhile, CD Pojekt Red shuts down a mod that lets players have a breathtaking sexual experience with Keanu Reeves. Gearbox Entertainment is bought by a Swedish company for 1.3 billion, and a Terraria co-creator cancels the Stadia version after being locked out of his Google account. The Los Angeles Valiant, an Overwatch League team which has spent the last 3 years nurturing one of the most interactive and engaging communities in the league, has made a decision that unfortunately did not go down well with their dedicated fan base. In mid-January, John Spector, vice president of Overwatch esports at Blizzard, announced the upcoming season's format, which will split the league into East and West divisions. The West Division will comprise of 12 North American and European teams, and the East Division includes 8 teams competing out of China and South Korea. However, keen eyes spotted that 2 new North American teams, with mixed nationality rosters, would be competing in Asia for the season to come, those being the Philadelphia Fusion and the Los Angeles Valiant. The Fusion were upfront with their community about the decision for the move, stating that South Korea has handled the pandemic better than the United States, allowing both Korean and non-Korean players to feel safer about their environment. The LA Valiant on the other hand were silent, supposedly preparing for the season with their former and newly signed players. On the same day that the new league format was announced, rumors began to spread that the LA Valiant had been sold to an undisclosed Chinese organization, with an owner who wanted a team with a heavy Chinese influence. The LA Valiant at the time had no Chinese players, however, took to Twitter to confirm that these rumors were false. 2 weeks and 1 tweet later, the LA Valiant bamboozled nearly everyone associated with the team, announcing that their entire roster and most staff were being let go due to COVID-19 related visa issues. The move was widely criticized, as the actions from management seemed to confirm that the entire roster was dropped for new Chinese players, all while another mixed nationality team had no problem transitioning their players to Asia. Out of the 7 players dropped, only 1 has so far been able to sign with a new team. We actually reached out to former LA Valiant player, Adam, who was picked up as recently as mid-November last year. However, he respectfully declined to comment. We wish all dropped players the best in finding a new home among the Overwatch League. In terms of new releases, February saw the launch of Super Mario 3D World, Control Ultimate Edition, Near and Near to Remastered, Little Nightmares 2, and 2021's Game of the Year contender, Super Seducer 3, The Final Seduction. March is set for a slow month of new releases, including It Takes Two, Monster Hunter Rise, Apex Legends on Switch, and Yakuza Like a Dragon on PS5. Viewers who want to know everything that happened outside of the gaming space in February can watch our regular news installment, due to release before the end of the month.
I wanna be like you.